Hey guys! So I'm going to be going over my updated foundation routine. This is a talk through, so I'm just going to go over all the steps that I take to achieve my foundation look. And I have been obsessed with shimmer on the cheekbones lately. I've jumped on the glow getter train, so I throw a couple tips in there too, and I hope you guys find the tutorial helpful. So we're just going to start with a clean face, and then the first thing I'm going to apply is the Benefit Porefessional primer. This is just what I have in my makeup bag currently. I really like it. When it goes onto your skin, it gives like this like velvety finish, and it is a little bit tinted, so especially with me, because I do have darker skin, some face primers, they tend to like make my skin look a little patchy because they'll either be like white or a lighter color, but this one blends in really nicely. And I like to focus it mostly on this area, like this triangle area underneath my eye, because that's where I tend to get the oiliest. And then on top of my foundation, I also like to put concealer in that area, so it just helps everything to stay nice and locked in throughout the day. And then I'm going to start with one of my favorite foundations. This is the Makeup Forever HD, and I am in the shade, I think this is 155. I just like to shake it a little bit and then dispense it on the back of my hand. I like to start with 2 drops. I'm not going to go too heavy with the coverage today, just because I want more of the focus to be on the glow of the skin as opposed to just like the coverage of the skin. And if you notice, this foundation is a little bit lighter than my actual like face. That's just because I have a lighter neck. And then once I have the amount of foundation that I want on my face, I just go in with a damp beauty blender. I like to use the rounder end to do my entire face. If you're not familiar with what a beauty blender is, it's pretty much just like this cone-shaped sponge. But yeah, if you're not familiar with what this is, it's really awesome. It gives your skin that airbrushed glow, so you don't see any streaks from any foundation brushes. And it's really easy to clean. I love these things. This is my newest one. I lost my old one, but these are just so convenient to have. So now that I have my base color down, I go in with a slightly darker color, something that's a little bit darker than my face. This is the Maybelline FitMe, I think this is a gel foundation. It's their gel foundation stick in the shade Toffee Caramel 330. And I just use this at like a darker foundation, and I just go on the areas of my face that are a little bit darker, or the areas that I'm going to shade in later. So I'll go down the sides of my nose, and then just like right in the hollows of my cheeks, and then just like right above the forehead. And I'm still using that round part of the beauty blender. I will use the pointier end when we get to underneath the eye, just because it's pointier and it just helps to get into like the really narrow part, or the really difficult part of your under eye. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of setting the tone for all the products that we're going to apply later. This is optional. You don't have to do this. I'm going to put a highlighting cream on the area where I am going to put my actual highlight, because I want it to stand out a little bit more than normal, because I'm going for like a glow that you would see in the sun, but indoors in like natural lighting, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Luminizing, and I don't think this has a shade name, but this is what it looks like. It's just like this cream. It's kind of moussey, so I'm just gonna blend it on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna just dab it on ever so lightly, because we are going to put powder on top. So as you can see, like, even if I just turn my head, I have natural lighting, by the way. I don't have any like artificial lighting going on, but you can already see that I have like the glow on my cheekbones. Now I'm going to move on actually to my under eye concealer. I'm going to use the Maybelline, I think this is also the FitMe Foundation line. This is just the concealer in the collection, and this is the shade Medium. So I'm going to go right underneath my eye. And I bring it out to this corner because I have redness in this corner. So I bring it up here, and then we're gonna go down here, make the triangle shape, do the same thing on the other side. So now, like I said, we're going to use the pointy part of the Beauty Blender sponge. And if this is too much concealer for you, you can totally tone it down. I just like to have the bottom part of my eye a lot brighter, just so it does a good job of hiding my dark under eye circles. I'm going to use a kabuki brush for the entire span of my face, and I'm going to set with my favorite face powder. This is the Smashbox Halo. So if you guys don't know what the Halo is, it's a hydrating powder, and over the years my skin has become a lot more dry. And it's so funny because when I first started YouTube I had like really oily skin, but now it's getting a lot drier, so it's nice to have a hydrating powder. So like I mentioned, this is the shade Light/Medium. What you do is, underneath this grinder is the actual powder, so what you do is you just turn it, and then it creates loose powder for you. Sometimes I don't even grind it because I don't need a whole lot of powder, and I just swirl my kabuki brush in there and it gets the powder from underneath the little grinder holes. But I just wanted to show you guys. So that's pretty much the majority of what I'm going to be using for my face. Down the nose. And let me show you what I'm doing. I'm not going to put powder underneath my eyes where I put my concealer. I'm applying it where I put my foundation for the most part, and I'll show you why in a second. So the reason I skipped underneath my eyes was because I am going to apply a lighter colored powder with a smaller brush. I'm just going to tap it off, and then I'm going to get right underneath my eye and blend it outwards. I'm not putting too much powder under there because we don't want the creases to show. And then just blend those two edges out. I'm going to take a big fluffy brush. I'm going to take my contour powder. This is not the right palette. Nope, not the right palette. I only have 3, so this has to be it. Aha! Okay. This is Blunt. This is a contouring powder from MAC. And this blending brush, so if you look at my eye, it's big. So I originally had bought this as a blending brush for my eyeshadow, but this is just way too big for my eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suck in my cheeks so I see where the hollows of my cheeks are, and then I'm just going to carve out those hollows with the contouring powder on this brush. So we have some pretty harsh lines laid out. I'm just going to go back to that brush I used underneath my eye and wipe off all that powder, and then just blend this line out so it's not super harsh. And I'm just going to dip it into that same powder, and then I'm going to go over where I put that darker foundation. I'm just getting this set up for bronzer. I'm not putting a whole lot on. I'm just putting some on so that when we do apply our bronzer, it just kind of deepens those areas where we did put the dark foundation. So we're gonna move on. I have my big fan brush out, and I'm gonna use the color that's right next to my blunt contour powder. This is called Trace Gold. This is also from MAC. Oh, this has a name. This is the C143 Deluxe Soft Fan. This one's from Crown Brushes also. So I'm just gonna take both ends and just dip the whole thing in here. So with the soft fan, this is easy because you can just put it right on that line where we put that like Smashbox moussey photo powder cream, whatchamacallit. And then with the edge of the brush, I'm just taking some of that Trace Gold on the corner of it. So just this top edge. And then I'm gonna point my brush downwards, but the powder is right here. And then I'm gonna flick that Trace Gold on that area where we put the Smashbox cream. And then once you've applied your shimmer, your face is pretty much good to go. I went ahead and just finished the look. I applied a blush onto my cheeks. This one's by MAC. I don't remember the shade name, but I will have it in the bottom bar description along with everything else that I used in today's video. And then I filled in my eyebrows. I did my eyes. I just did a neutral look with a purple cut crease. I filled in my eyebrows, put some eyeliner and lashes on, and that was pretty much it. And then I did my lips. So I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.